Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Delicious. Today is, say it with me, people, for the first time in a long time, right? It's Friday. Woohoo! March 6th, 3/6/26. And regular listeners will realize that I've going back to the old format. Um, Slight difference. I'm still using fancy new microphone that assistant Sydney had me get, but I'm on video. So if you are watching this on video, you can see the big honking, decidedly phallic microphone. It won't be gross like certain commanders in chief pretending to fillet the microphone, but I do admit it's tempting. So, yeah, we're going back to old format. Uh, I really thought it was cool what Sydney was doing with the, fancy editing and so forth, but I didn't feel like it made a substantive difference. And you all can let me know if you would rather we go back to audio only. I know some people were really missing the video. Um, yeah, it didn't work out. It was a good idea. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And the lovely Sydney has gotten a brilliant new day job, so we wish her very well, and she needs to devote all of her time to that. And I wanted to get some other things going to ramp up because here we are soon. Among the Thorns will be out. Yay! And look what I got. Look what I got behind me here. If you are on video, you will see that I have arcs of Among the Thorns. I love this cover. Isn't it beautiful? I love the subdued, subtle quality of it. I'm definitely going to have orange nails for book tour because I'm definitely going on book tour again for this. Very excited. Next week, I will be at Tucson Festival of Books. I will, I'm doing a couple of panels. Let me see if I can tell you easily what I'm going to be on. Um, well, I actually let me do a little pause here. Okay, here we go. I am on two panels, both on Saturday. One is at 11:30 in the morning, and I'm going to be on there with Alex Haro and Julie Long, with Victoria Salaiko, I'm guessing on pronunciation of her name, moderating on how to heal a heart. What does it cost to love when you've been broken? Uh, Join us as we discuss crafting relationships that simmer and ache, the art of emotional intimacy, and why sometimes the slowest burns leave the deepest marks. I kind of love that. And then the other panel that I'm on is at 2:30, and this is creating worlds that breathe. Again, with Alex Haro, we're going to be besties at this festival. Every great fantasy begins with a world that feels lived in, but how do you build a universe from scratch? Join Alex Haro, Adrian Young, and Jennifer Lambert as they discuss building fantasy worlds that feel real. They will compare notes on the research and imagination required and just how they craft unforgettable settings. And that one is moderated by Natalie Polston. So I'm very excited about being at Tucson Festival of Books next week. It's just simply a fantastic festival. I went to it a few years back and it's amazing. Plus, it works out well that I can see my mom. It is her birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, mommy. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do for podcast schedule now. Um, because we've gone to Friday only because of Sydney's day job schedule. But I'm thinking that, I don't know, was once a week good? Should I go back to twice a week? I'm feeling like I should do one Monday because I may not be able to do one on Friday because of the aforementioned Tucson Festival of Books. I could potentially do one from my hotel room, but I don't always do that, as we know. Uh, if you have feedback, let me know. I'm going to try to keep a lot of the same things that Sydney put in place, that you can send me questions. And of course, you all tag me on social media and ask me stuff anyway. So yeah, mom's birthday on Monday. She will be 84. I won't be there till Thursday, but we will do some celebrating together at the end of the week. And yeah, I'm looking at also on Tuesday, the 10th, is going to be the anniversary of my stepdad's death, which is, I don't normally pay attention to these kinds of, I don't know, is there a special word for a death anniversary? But it's amazing to me that that was 2 years ago. And I look back on the last 2 years and how I suppose I've been visiting this a lot, so sorry if it gets tiresome, but on just how hard the last 2 years have been. It's just really, there's been so much. And I think it's good for me to kind of observe this. I'm not really fond of this phrase, but I guess it's useful to sit with it. I guess that comes from therapy speak, sit with your emotions or sit with an idea as opposed to, I don't know, blazing past it or dismissing it. Um, but I think it's good for me to acknowledge that things have been hard, and uh, it's been a difficult week. It's been a rough week for me. Uh, I'm let's see, we could talk about writing a little bit. I am working on Blade's books and the Bandit, and I'm still a little shy of 30,000 words. I'm not nearly where I thought I would be this week. I'm also kind of acknowledging the fact that the pollen has really shot up here, and I do have allergies. So I think some of my not feeling good is from the pollen. But yeah, I think these anniversaries do bring our thoughts back around to uh, what we're feeling and experiencing and what we're going through. And I think a focus of this podcast from the beginning, and I'm on the 8th season now, I guess, uh, is talking about the process of creating and what it's like to be a creative and trying to maintain your life at the same time. And I think that we all have these challenges, right? Like, how do you deal with the mundane necessities of life, like keeping a roof over your head, but also dealing with accumulated traumas. My friend who always gives me very good advice was giving me good advice. Circular argument is circular. I was complaining about not getting much written this week because of emotional topsy-turviness, and mostly to do with my husband, with my partner. And I said, yes, that, I'm still on track to finish this book on time and I needed to chill. And she said, maybe instead of telling yourself you need to chill, you can say to yourself, it's okay, I'm worrying now. There are good reasons for that, but it's going to be fine. I'm allowed to worry. I'm allowed to be exhausted, but this will pass. And I thought, that's actually really decent advice. And she said something similar to me when I was going through all this stuff with my mom, right? And And it is better, things do get better. And I guess we tell ourselves these things, like this too shall pass and all of that. But yeah, I think that keeping in mind that it's okay to be upset at the state of the world, that it's, okay to be worried about things, and giving ourselves the grace to allow ourselves to be worried. Yesterday, I had breakfast with the wonderful Jim Sorensen, who is a delight as always. And then I just wasn't getting any writing done for the rest of the day. I was kind of hurling myself at the wall. And I've talked about this a lot, right? Like, how do you know when you need to keep at it and when you are indeed just beating yourself brainless? Uh, and I finally just decided to get some other business done. So I took care of some things like the car I got from my mom, the Infinity. I finally got the plates on it. People, that took me 4 trips to MVD. I don't think I told you all of my trials and tribulations on that, and I won't go into it now. But yeah, 4 trips to MVD to get that done. But it's done now, and I have my beautiful turquoise plates on there. I don't look like I'm a jerk from Arizona anymore, which actually matters to me a whole lot. Um, and there was something else I got off my plate yesterday morning. Oh, just figuring out some marketing plans. Um, I would like to do some more stuff, getting you all to read Love, Lies, and Ley Lines, with the second book coming out in May. So I've got plans for that. And then also Among the Thorns and doing everything for that. Um, I'm really excited for all of those things. And yeah, it's going to be it's going to be good. It's just again, feeling like a lot of things. I feel like I had this brief respite where I was all chirpy and like I've closed chapters and things are done, and I did, but now I'm sort of looking at the next pile of things that have to get done, and that's all right. Uh, I did last weekend. Let's see, because I haven't talked to you all since last Friday. I had a great weekend last weekend. I really did. I went to yoga class, my favorite yoga class, and it was good to be there. And it was kind of interesting because uh, my yoga teacher references the fact that she has to work on being fierce. She's a very gentle person, and uh, we do have this one pose. If you do Iyengar yoga or anything like that, you will know that there is fierce pose. And so she references this sometimes about how um, she needs to work on being fierce. So at the beginning of class, she also live streams it. And she was talking to a few of the people who were on the live stream, and the rest of us are all there, sitting on our mats, being meditative and preparing ourselves. And someone on through the live stream said that she was very quiet and they couldn't hear her. And she said, oh, so she's fiddling with her microphone and turning it up and asking, is that better? And they said, well, kind of. And she said, okay, well, I'll just speak loudly. And so, me being me, I called out and I said, be fierce, Melissa. And boy, she took that as the theme for the class. We were fierce through the class. We did all kinds of channeling ferocious energy, and it was a great class. And afterwards, she came and she hugged me and said, thank you for the prompt and the reminder to be fierce. And I think that's a good thing to remember too. Even as we tell ourselves, it's okay that you're exhausted. It's okay that you're worried. It's okay that things are difficult. Uh, we also can channel that inner ferocity to meet the world with this. That we um, can speak up, that we can hold a strong pose. We can have that shining light that is our boundary, that we tell people, no, this is who I am, and these are the things that are important to me, and that I ask to be respected if you want to be part of my life. So, and then I had brunch with my friend Megan afterwards and did some errands. I got a bunch of things done. And Sunday, I got the garage entirely, well, not entirely cleaned up, all of the stuff that I brought from my mom's. It's either put away, stacked up somewhere. There's stuff in my office here. You could probably see in the background if you're on video. And, I have art to hang. I have some art I have to sell. Still have to sell the Lexus. But these things are getting done. And I was able to get my car back in the garage because things are at least pushed off to the side. And I think this weekend I'm going to work on really cleaning out the garage more. So yeah, that'll be good, and we shall see. Um, yeah, so it was funny after I was feeling really good about accomplishing all those things, then it got to be a difficult week after that. So, but that's life, right? Sometimes just stuff happens and we get allergies and we get emotional tumult, and trying to figure out how to work through it or work around it. Yeah, I'm very happy. I think I already talked about this, but I'm losing track of time to have the dining room table set up and my grandmother's chandelier hanging. And now I got the little washers for stabilizing the bezels so I can get up there and get those fixed. I want to get a dimmer switch on the chandelier. I'm going to have a dinner party at some point. Lots of things to do, both domestically and with books and marketing and so forth. My therapist, excuse me, get choked up just talking about her. Uh, I told her that I was doing all of this rearranging with the house and getting some of these long delayed tasks done, and she made the excited face, and I said, "Why is this psychologically significant?" And she said, "Yeah, I think it could be." Um, which I probably mentioned already, but I'll get back on track now that I am going to be doing this part of my life again, handling the podcast, see if I can remember how I used to post this and everywhere I had it up and so forth. But, oh, and then the other exciting thing, which is, it's interesting. I mentioned that March 10th is 2-year anniversary of my stepdad's death. For those of you who don't know, he died as I was trying to give him CPR. So that was the first time I've had someone actually die under my hands. Maybe that I've actually watched die, a human being. So, sort of still processing that. But it's also the release day for the Italian edition of Never the Roses. And it's so beautiful. If you watch my Instagram, I've been resharing the publisher's cover and the wonderful graphics that they're putting together. Take a look, because Italian roses, I feel like we all need Italian roses right now. So, on that note, I'm going to sign off and figure out about getting this uploaded. And I will probably go ahead and talk to you all on Monday. You all take care. Bye bye.